On that topic, like what is the relevance of a spiritual understanding for a practice? Um, Shannon, you just mentioned worthiness, and um, I feel like my journey as a professional coach, but also as a human, has has been so enhanced and so supported by really tapping in to that essential part of me. And this really happened through when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about if there was time. I had like a 50 bullet point list of like, well, here's all the ways. There's so many ways this is relevant. But just this morning I was thinking, what was the real shift for me, or when did something start to really sink in? And it was really, so many of you know this about my story, but I had a baby in 2013 and she passed away during labor with no full term, with no known reason. And what happened for me in that year that followed was we spent about 6 hours with her after I gave birth to her. And in that moment, that 6 hour moment, and then the year that followed, I kept having this experience of feeling so much joy and so much like inspiration and happiness. And like there were days in a row where I was like, I'm never going to get out of bed. I'm just never going to get out of bed. And then I'd be out of bed and I'd be walking around, and I kept looking in like, what is doing that in me? Like, what is getting me up and out of bed? What is this feeling in me that's so separate from my current life reality? Like it doesn't even care what's going on in my life. It's happy. Like it doesn't even care. And that year it was just I had been on the spiritual path really since I was about 12, but it was a lot of really good ideas that felt nice and they felt real, but I wasn't really living in that space. And that year following Rowan's birth and death, I feel like it was a master class in dipping into that spiritual essence that just is there doing everything. I think I'm doing everything, but really I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel capable of anything. And yet this energy was there. And if I looked to it, it was like this ball of light bursting to just be expressed and be seen and be heard. And it prior to that, I had started coaching many times. I always say, like, I've been a professional coach for about 10 years, doing it well, and then about 10 years, like just failing miserably before that. And I joke around about that, but that's the truth. And really, I feel like the shifting point was after my experience with Rowan. I felt this clarity that I didn't need to be perfect as a human at all. Like, at all. I could be low and I could feel unmotivated and I could feel unworthy. But that's just the temporary lie or the temporary illusion kind of floating through. And the truth of who I am is the thing that's carrying me, guiding me, moving me, inspiring me, and I can rely on it. And it was this experience that year and then the years after of deciding to really go for coaching and see if I could create a practice. I felt like I just need good systems that I can rely on how to do it, and know that there's this energy in me that will get me there. Like it will show up in a session also. It'll show up in a session in service to another human. It'll show up, and it does show up every time. Every time I quiet my mind, there's wisdom in there. Like there's presence in there. And it's just been a forever path, forever deepening path. Um, and I'm very, very grateful for it. It was kind of one of those life experiences that I decided to really use for my highest good. And that was a choice I kept making over and over again, that I want to use this to awaken more fully. And I feel like, Shannon, that's what you're doing right now. Like you said those words a moment ago. I was like, yeah, that's it. Like awakening more fully to the divinity, to the truth of who I am and what I am. Like I didn't even know what I was working with before this, before Rowan, before that happened. I didn't know what was going on here. I still don't really, but I have a sense that gives me some courage and it gives me some willingness to go out and be a messy, flawed human, but do my life how I feel called to do it, knowing my spirit is guiding me and supporting me. And there's always wisdom when I just, I mean, even if I don't shush a little bit inside, there, it's still there. It's louder when I shush. um, Gosh, so yeah, there's so much I want to say. I love this topic so much, but I'll leave it there. So grateful. I'm so grateful to all of you. And Shannon, I love opportunities to serve and create. And this just has felt like a total joy. So thank you. Thank you all.